Hey guys, it's Stephen here. Manchester City have just lost to Southampton 1-0 in the most typically Manchester City week, I guess, in Manchester City history. Not the most typical, but that's Manchester City in a nutshell. If you ever wonder what my typical City is, that is it. Before I get into that shambles of a performance, can you do me a massive favour? Click the link in the description. Download OneFootball. It's a fantastic app with all your Manchester City news. So if you're wondering where Manchester City are going to sign some players to solve the shambles from today, that's where you're going to get your information from. So click OneFootball, please. It helps your channel absolutely loads. Download it. It's a fantastic app. Honestly, I promise you it is. Let's get into that shambles of the game. Look at those stats from today. 25 shots and goal, possession 74%, and we couldn't score a goal. If you ever wonder what City's season was going to look like, I guess summed up, that was it today. Now, City should have a lot more points and a lot more goals than they have this season. That first goal, for example, was everything that goes wrong Manchester City these days in terms of, I guess, when we concede a goal. When we concede a goal, largely, it comes off the back of a mistake defensively and usually often a wonder goal. So you got basically those mixed together. They were like tiny mistakes, if that makes sense. Like Zinchenko losing the ball in midfield from a non-particularly dangerous position isn't the worst thing ever. But then Ederson was a little bit further forward, and also Che Adams decided to score a worldie from 40 yards. So it was frustrating, but it wasn't like a catastrophic mistake. We're not talking Gundogan and Mendy levels here against Chelsea. Frustrating, but still a minor mistake. Calamitous is the best way to describe it, which is Manchester City when they concede goals. Now, the other side of Manchester City's wastefulness, I guess, is the fact that we don't score anywhere near enough. Looking through that Manchester City team, sometimes it appears that we don't have anywhere near enough natural finishes. It feels like we've only got a couple at most, really. Aguero's a natural finisher. Phil Foden seems to be a natural finisher. De Bruyne isn't too bad at finishing, not great. Mahrez is a pretty decent finisher. Bernardo, David, Sterling, they are not natural finishers. Our midfielders don't seem to be. And Gabriel Jesus, frustratingly, doesn't seem to be a natural finisher. He seems to be very much a confidence player. And he'll come up for most of the stick today. But also the other players, I can't really just blame them entirely. City's expected goals were 3.79. This should have been a 3 or 4-0. 3.79. That is our own fault entirely. It's almost not even Guardiola's fault to an extent. When you create that many chances and you set the system up that smoothly to create that many chances, you've got to take them. And I've got a feeling this could massively change Manchester City's, I guess, summer plans. I do think we'll go for a striker. I think Guardiola will be frustrated. I do think we'll go for a wide forward as well, because we need players that come in and have a clinical edge. I'm so bored. I mean, naturally some of it will change. David Silva won't be playing next year because he's not going to be there. But I'm bored of watching players be so pussyfooted in front of goal. We need players who are going to take a little bit more aggression, a little bit more control, because we can't deal with 9 league defeats in one season. 9 league defeats. That's more than Arsenal, United, and Wolves. That's the same number as the 8th place Sheffield United. 9 league defeats. Yes, it is testament that we still could win more trophies in Liverpool this season or whatever, but that's because largely we're a very good team, but we should not be losing that many games. Often these defensive calamities still shouldn't matter anywhere near as much. We should be able to concede a goal or two here and there if we take the chances that we've got. And I'm sorry, today we cost ourselves entirely. I want to give Southampton some credit, of course. I think Southampton were good. They were good. They defended really well. They were up for it. But largely, we still should have been good. They were superb defensively. I can't deny that. But Manchester City have to be better than that. They have to be. I mean, largely the game once again doesn't also matter. It doesn't matter to an extent that this is a kind of pre-season game. That many changes will, I guess, mess up the flow of the performance to an extent. Seeing Fernandinho in midfield was weird. Zinchenko will get the criticism as well. I don't think he was terrible, just frustrating. Cancelo I thought was a positive, if I'm being honest. For Cancelo, actually had a pretty decent game. He got forward well, particularly in the first half. Didn't have much movement ahead of him, but he did show some pretty nice moments. Ederson, I can't really blame him for the goal. I don't think he was particularly anyway. He shouldn't have been. One nice pass, a couple of decent saves. Ederson was fine. Garcia, that misplaced pass aside, funny enough, after Guardiola said he doesn't make mistakes, he was always going to make a mistake. I think he was okay, Garcia. Laporte was a little bit of kind of floppy every now and then, kind of slashing at the ball. Midfield, David Silva had some nice touches, but wasteful. Bernardo's not Bernardo yet fully, is it? He was okay. Then Mahrez, Sterling looked okay. We kind of lost a lot of momentum when those two went off. Gabriel Jesus is frustrating. The thing is, Gabriel Jesus, he's a really good player. I do like him overall when he wants to, but he hasn't come back in good form, and he can frustrate because he takes so many chances to score a goal. Then he can have the game like he did against Burnley early on in the season where he scored a worldie and scored a couple of really good goals. But then he can have games like today where he feels like he's never going to score ever, and he feels like he has no power in his shot, so he feels like I don't know, like you can play 270 minutes, 3 games, and he still wouldn't score. It does make me think, will we go for a striker? Because Aguero's out, what if Aguero doesn't come back like Aguero next season? You've got to consider that possibility. Aguero is not younger anymore. He could get injured. He could be injured more as he gets older. Is Gabriel Jesus enough to rely on? Will we sign a striker? I think we should be going for a striker next season. We need to. We need to be better than that. I think we lacked any kind of real incisiveness when De Bruyne and Foden came on. De Bruyne didn't have a good game. He tried a little bit too much. He was forcing it a little bit. Foden couldn't really get on the ball much. Foden's much better when he's got space to run into. And it didn't seem to work for him today. I guess it's kind of a testament a little bit to Foden's status, I guess, that he was seen as a guy who potentially solved the situation. It was a bit of an honour, really, but it didn't happen. But we felt like we needed a little bit more. And I was also a bit frustrated by the defensive options. Sorry, not by the defensive options. I guess the amount of defensive options on the bench. It felt like we were a little lacking game changers off the bench, really. I would have loved to see a striker there. I know Delap's only young, but it's not going to happen. But I would love to see that. I also would have loved to see Jaden Braff on the bench because I really like Tommy Dore. I really like Bellis. But, for me, with Otamendi on the bench, Bellis felt unnecessary. I would have liked, especially with Fernandinho playing as well, could have gone centre-back if need be. I would have liked an attacking option on the bench. Throwing someone like Braff on in a game like that, nothing might have happened. But at the same time, everything might have happened. A winger with arrogance, and he has got arrogance to his game in a good way, with pace, a penchant for long-range goals, cutting in and beating his man, getting him on the left, running at defenders, running at a very tired Kyle Walker-Peters would have been very, very useful potentially. This is the first time Guardiola's lost 3 consecutive away games, the first time in his managerial career. That's uncharted territory for him, and it's not good. We need to be a little bit better than that. It is worth kind of giving the consideration that once again we've learned nothing new from this game. Manchester City of this season have been a team plagued by inconsistency. So the same questions and the same problems are still there. So it's no different to the Chelsea game, it's no different to the Wolves game, it's no different to the other games this season. This is Manchester City of this season. And even though we have moments like the Liverpool game and the Arsenal game, because we do have high quality players, we are just as likely to have moments as like we have today. And that isn't good enough, really. We do have to be better than that, but we have to accept it's a big part of this season. Now, do you suspect it would have been a different story? We had Mendy playing, Walker playing, maybe Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne from the start. Maybe it would have been, but we need to be better than that anyway. As good as Southampton are, they are not an unbeatable team. They are not an unbeatable team at all, and I am frustrated by that. But at the same time, if the game had gone to the expected goals tonight, we would have won that. Guardiola did say the problem is in both boxes as well, and he's right. We create plenty of goals, we score few, we concede easily. That's this season in a nutshell. We will be alright. I'm sure we will come back against Newcastle, we'll be better. I'm sure we'll be better in the Champions League and the FA Cup. But that has brought us back down to earth, which maybe we would have needed. Individually, some of those players do have to be better. I feel a bit sorry for Zinchenko because even though he needs to do a little bit better sometimes, it is worth considering Zinchenko isn't a left back really. I still don't think he's ever going to be anything more than just a backup left back. And also he barely plays. So when he gets on and he's not really fit and he's playing an unfamiliar position, it's tough for him. It's tough for him to be consistent. It's tough for him to be useful. So there's a lot of questions asked today, basically. Where do we go from here? Obviously, we keep playing. We established our strongest lineup. I do feel like the changes were the wrong ones off. To me, it would have been Mahrez off and probably Bernardo. I would have put Sterling on the right, Foden on the left. That's what I would have gone for personally, or maybe just kept them where they are. And I would have put De Bruyne on for Bernardo. But it doesn't matter. I think we are going to see some big change in the squad because I think we realise that we have to freshen it up. Sometimes every great squad reaches a point where, regardless of how good they are, they just have to make some changes. And we're at that point now, Manchester City's squad, where we do need to make some changes. We do need to inject a little bit of positivity, get a centre-back in, maybe a left-back. Don't know how much we want, but I do want a winger. And I also want a striker. I want it. I want to see City have a little bit of vibrancy up front. We are missing that Sane and Sterling link up. It's over now. We are missing Aguero at his peak potentially. Aguero could not be the same guy next season. We have to brace ourselves for that. And we do need some fresh ideas and a little bit of spark because it's frustrating. How much do you blame Guardiola for their over-rotation? Is it the case that we have to accept that because, he's changing all these players because he doesn't feel the players are fit enough at the moment because we haven't had a pre-season post-lockdown. Is it just a natural course of it? Or do we read too much into it? I don't know. We need to be more clinical in front of goal, though. I'm sorry, but they need to spend a lot of time do whatever they can to find a way to finish better, because we cannot finish that badly and get away with it against the better teams. We didn't get away with it today against a slightly lesser team. But it isn't the end of the world. It isn't a crisis. It's just frustrating. We can beat Liverpool, Real Madrid, then do that against Southampton and Norwich and whatever. And it is very, very, very frustrating. But that's Manchester City, isn't it? It is one of those nights. But those nights have been far too common this season. And hopefully it'll change next season. But I guess the only positive, once again, is every time a game like this happens, it draws our focus even sharper on what we need to change for next season. Guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks also to everyone who got involved in the watch along. It wasn't a great game. It hasn't been a great game to talk about. But I'm not going to kick up cause a fuss because we should be okay. We should be all right. Go down about football. It'll cheer me up massively. And I'll be back tomorrow to pick through the bones of that. Maybe with Alex and Walter from Bloom Horizon. And that'll be hopefully interesting. Oh well. See you later. Have a good evening.